Welcome back, Rankers. Thank you very much for all the feedback I had last week on doing the SEO course. I've been working on it last weekend, and I just want to give you a sneak peek of it, and I'm going to need beta testers, so stay tuned for when we release it. But this is a sneak peek of it, and that was that. Enjoy that? Good. But stay tuned, because I'm going to need beta testers. Now, I want to show you this graph. It looks fun, doesn't it? It looks like a ride at the show. It goes up and down, whee! Unfortunately, it is the Google index of a major fast-moving consumer goods brand. That's terrible, if you see that. Now, this graph is not of a client. How did I get hold of this graph? Don't be nosy. But what I wanted to explain to you and show you is that when your Google index graph, because I mentioned this briefly last week, when your Google index graph is doing this, there's a lot wrong. Okay, and you're probably going to find out a whole bunch of other things that are wrong too. So if you keep an eye on this, you'll go, okay, there's something going on here. Because what this says is back here in June, oh, we got like 3,000 new pages. And then no, that wasn't June. When was that? That was January. And then dates are backwards, Americans. I have trouble with it. And then in March, we went up to 9,000 pages, and then we went back to 7,000 pages. Then we went up to 8,700 pages, then we went down to 2,600 pages. What are you doing? You're just confusing the bejesus out of Google. It doesn't know what to rank. You're mixing it up, you're changing it around. People always ask me, I had this question at the ProVlog conference. I've got a heap of content that's not typically related to what I'm talking about now. Should I just get rid of it? My advice to that is, it's your decision, but I very rarely delete anything. I will go and append old posts or old articles to say, look, I don't want to talk about this, I talk about this stuff over here. You can get rid of it, but if you're going to get rid of it, redirect it. Don't just do this. And I know these people haven't redirected. By the way, this is maintained by a large advertising agency that gets paid millions to look after this client, literally. But they don't know anything about Webmaster tools, obviously. When you go and have a look at the crawl errors, and I said don't worry about this last week, but if you see a graph like that, and you're the owner of the website, go and have a look at this. Because if you're seeing this, and you're saying, whee, it gets higher and higher and higher, that's a bad graph. Most graphs that do that, you go, oh, look at that, that's my profit. No, that is actually your loss. That is your lost pages that Google can no longer find. And in this case, it's got 3,331 of them. And then we're going to have a look at the sitemaps, because I'm seeing a bunch of errors here that shouldn't be there. And you go into the sitemap, and typically, if it ever loads, Google, hello, are you in a loop? Thank you. And then you'll see this one here, sitemap, ooh, little red triangle, men at work? No, that means alert. That means pay attention. You've got problems. You've got 49 warnings here. And you've only got 84 pages that you've ever submitted, even though Google's indexed 2,600. And this is the Webmaster tools of a poor, neglected website. If there were laws against this, the equivalent of something protection services would come and take this website away from its owners and rescue it because it's been abused. It has. Look at that. They have paid absolutely no attention to this. And this is a major brand. And I went and Googled its brand, which is a 3-letter word, which they have an exact match domain name for it, and they rank something like 25. Now, there's probably a bunch of executives in at this public company going, why don't we rank for our own brand? That's tough. Well, this is why. You just fix these things up and bang, up you go. Not only that, because you've got an exact match domain, which actually matches your product as well, you will probably go up for that generic product term as well. So pay attention to your Google index. It's telling you something. And as you know, if you're a regular viewer of the show, if you're going to change a whole bunch of pages for whatever reason, as this particular site has done, make sure that you're redirecting things and letting Google know what's going on. What does a good graph look like? Well, it should just look like a steady upwards movement if you're not deleting anything. There might be legitimate reasons to remove stuff from the index. It's a product that's discontinued, whatever it is. But make sure you go and redirect those things and let Google know about those things. Also, for God's sake, maintain this Google Webmaster Tools account. There will be an email address associated with this account. make sure someone reads those emails that go into that account, because Google will send you alerts. You can see here, this one here has got 5 site messages which no one is reading except for me, because I still have access and they're no longer a client. Ask you no questions, don't ask questions. Yeah, you know the rest of it. I won't tell you any lies. But we've tried contacting them and say, hey, you know what? This is not good, what's happening, and the reason you're not ranking, we can tell you. But unfortunately, agencies, bureaucrats, the whole lot, I can't be bothered wading through that muck. They can have that one to themselves. But you, as a business owner, should always look at this index status and just check it. Maybe not once a month is probably enough, unless you're having major changes on your site or something terrible's happened. That's all you really need to check that, just to make things are tracking, just to make things sure things are going along okay. And if you see sort of these mad swings like this, something is wrong. What you need to do is, if it goes up and down by 1 or 2 pages over a course of a week, no big deal, especially if you're adding or deleting content. When you see massive jumps, like 10 pages, and you haven't added 10 pages, there's an issue. The opposite is true. If it drops by those sorts of numbers, there's something going on. Google's crawling something it shouldn't. People are deleting things that they shouldn't, whatever. It's time to go and check all those other things. And that is it for today's show. If you want to be a beta tester for the SEO course, just drop me a line, jim@stuartmedia.com.au. We'll make sure you get on the list. And of course, if we get a good review from you, we'll say nice things about you and publish you. If you give us a bad review, that's great. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.